used to be the office spaces of the film division, the literature division, the outreach and exchange division, and the exchange department, and the arts education department. As when we enter, what you would see basically would be the ceiling. Part of the ceiling has already been removed. They have removed all the electrical wires. The drainage pipe is still there, but this will also be changed. What we are going to undertake in this next 3 years is a whole retrofitting of the building, changing all the electricals, all the mechanicals, all the plumbing system, all the fire protection system, and the structural retrofitting of the building itself, plus the auxiliaries. So, in preparation for every space, all of the ceilings will have to be taken down and removed. Inside it are all the electricals, auxiliary, plumbing is on the other side of it. For every area, for every floor, there are restrooms, employees' restrooms, and restrooms of audiences that's related to theater. So all of those will also be changed. And then we will be working out, once they prepare the ceiling, they will be working on the roof deck to be able to waterproof it. When we enter, I will continue with this. I just want to point out that now that you see the bare ceiling, it goes to show that we do have cracks that needs to be addressed. So the beams and the slabs will have to be addressed. Carbon fiber application will be done, and epoxy injection will be applied on cracks. Before they can even work on waterproofing, we have to make sure that all the cracks have been addressed. And as you walk through here, you will also feel that part of our floor are not anymore completely the same in terms of, may mga humps. And when there are humps, it means that the pipes underneath it have corroded. So they will do first the ceiling before they work on the floor. So that's exactly what's going to happen on every floor. Because we do have, as we all know, we're by the bay, and by the bay, the corrosion easily happens, no? But we must remember, this is a 53-year-old building, and I'm sure you have had experience in the past watching some of our shows during rainy season, and you have seen how some of our walls have been bleeding in the sense that you would see water coming out, or at the lobby you would see that we would have some pails covering up to catch the leaks. But that's because there are cracks that you would see in the ceiling that cannot be seen completely, and we have addressed it through the years. This is one drainage that will be addressed only once we've done waterproofing. We'll be closing down drainages and create new drainage for every unit. The same thing with the plumbing. So you can see here, this is already a clear indication of floor. All the way, these are from electricals that will have to be changed as well. They're preparing the slabs right now before they apply all epoxy and the carbon fiber. And we also have to address anide. somehow there are areas that have been infested with anay. Just particular areas, so that's also being addressed in this whole retrofitting. Now, as we finish this area, as I said, waterproofing will be happening. Even this is part of the facade, what you see here. So the whole area, this will also be waterproofed beyond the rooftop itself. So, would you have any questions?
Where are we now? What is this
We
place?
are fourth floor. This is the office of the Arts Education Department.
I see.
Yeah. Yes, walang bintana. The building was built without windows. It was, because it's a centralized by the bay, the wind factor in this area is really, really strong. So all of this have been sealed out. We have just newly changed all the glass panels. 53-year-old glass panels were changed 4 years ago.
But were these windows here already before?
They were not windows, they were glass panels.
Oh, glass panel.
It could not have windows, as we were told, it's because of the wind factor.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has to be fully sealed. Yeah. That's the reason why we're centralized. But one of the things which we are doing, also for energy efficiency, is to be able to divide the air conditioning units. We will undergo, and we will be buying new systems for air conditioning to be able to divide per floor and be able to install air conditioning, particularly for office spaces. But the centralized air conditioning for the theaters will continue. So that's what how we are going to divide it for energy saving and also for water saving. That's the most important thing, because when you run the chillers for air conditioning, that's a whole, how many tons, Engineer Debbie? Engineer Debbie is here with me, head of our engineering.
Total of 830 POs.
Total of 830 PRs to run the chillers. So we will, studies have been made to be able to have a more energy efficient system for the building. And so we're dividing the air conditioning units so that we don't have to turn on the whole centralized air conditioning unit when we have performances on weekends and there are no offices operating during weekends.
Do you envision the center to be a green building after the renovation?
Yes, we envision it to be a green building. At the same time, we'll be able to address all the building codes that through the years, well, the new building code, the new electrical code, the new plumbing code, the new drainage code, how do you call that? Fire protection code.
Fire protection.
The fire protection code. It's most important. So we will also be installing sprinklers. It will be a different kind of sprinkler for where our gallery will be, because that's where artworks are. It would be a different kind of sprinkler for inside offices. So may I invite you now to proceed. We're going to go to Silangan Hall. What if you remember the Silangan Hall? I'll lead you to that space.
Because all the parties are there.
You can go up through the door here to proceed to the Silangan Hall. Right. As you can see, sorry, work has to continue in spite of, but can we just for a while, just stop? As you can see, we are beginning to work on this area to be able to also see leaks. This has never been touched, 53 years.
Wow.
So they're beginning to worked on, because part of the building audit, we were able to identify where the leaks are, and these are the areas which are being touched. First, to be able to see how big an area must be touched further. So, we're beginning to have this, and it will be restored back to the same. We have the Loxines, the LVLB or Leandro V. Loxin Partners as our consultant. We also have the Nagata Acoustics from Japan as our consultant for the theater. We also have a theater consultant on board, and we have, of course, the building audit company, the ACO, on board as well as consultant. So we shall proceed to the silangan.
Kailangan po.
So welcome to the Silangan Hall, the hall that hosted a whole lot of many parties for the institution, for all the events that we have had. We've also had screenings here for Cinemalaya. But as you can see, if you look up, beautiful. We have had so many leaks and cracks in this whole space, all the way to the end. And that is one of the things that is being addressed. Again, the slabs and the beams have been prepared to be able to have the epoxy carbon fiber application done and injection of epoxy on all the cracks before we proceed to the rest. As you can see, it's already bare. They have already removed air ducts for air conditioning. That's been done as well on the other side that you've seen. All our air ducts will be removed. All of this, you know, when you, if only you know an air duct, I was so surprised I can fit into it. You know how big it is. It's almost in between. What you don't see is the in between of the floors as well, which I have been into. And a person as tall as that man can go inside because it has air ducts. The air ducts are where the air conditioning flows, and to every area. In this part, all the air ducts have been removed, all the electricals, the pipes, drainage pipes you would be able to see, which will also be changed. All of this, the innards, no, I would say, will be changed. And if we go to the end of this, the kitchen, because Silangan Hall was really a restaurant when the CCP opened, and it was really called the Silangan restaurant. It had its kitchen, which a certain time of the history of the CCP had to be closed because of the drainage pipes that we're leaking per floor. Careful. Please be careful. And I would say the two bunches, if you want to take a photo of the kitchen. Okay. This is the kitchen area, but I will not allow you to go further. All right, only for those who wish to take photos. But the walls have been cleared out. Many tiles are still to be cleared out. They stopped today because of it's dusty, super dusty. So just for the sake of today's moving around, but if you go in, okay, up to here, you would see that some of the pipes have been taken down. And this will be revived as a kitchen so that we can continue with having proper caterers coming in, using this kitchen and serving food for any and all of the occasions of the CCP for all our productions. So we will be able to revive this area, this kitchen. I think it was closed in about 86.
Wow.
Because as early as that, there were already leaks with the drainage pipes, but it could not be addressed because of budget. You know, because once you work on one, it goes all the way down to the lower basement. So the kitchen had to be closed. In fact, there was a point in time it was even used as an office space because we expanded in 86, but and we needed office spaces. So this area actually was being utilized to keep some of the collections of the museum that were not being exhibited, and some offices stayed in this particular area as well. But this will be revived into a working kitchen in order to serve as, in order to help out all our caterers do things properly when they serve food in every occasion.
Is this the only kitchen?
This is the only kitchen,
So-
aside from our cafeteria, which is in the lower basement.
So where did you do the catering?
Caterers would come already with the food. We would have the preparation. I mean, food is already prepared, okay? And they would have heaters to be able to serve it warm. Yeah. So, in spite of that, what we really would want to happen is that whole area can really be used already for occasions, for the receptions, and use this kitchen properly in serving the food. So, I can't go out, can we? We can proceed now. Oh, okay. Mr. Dennis Marasigan might be waiting for us all the way to the other side. Because I said we will be able to. Let's go back. Oh, okay. I am told that we can proceed. They cleared it out because yesterday I went around to see how we were going to do the run, and it was very, very dusty. That's why I didn't want everyone to come in. But you would see how our ceilings have been worked on already, and they're removing tiles already to continue with the work.
Wow.
This is part of the visual arts collection that has been packed. Hindi na pupunta. Museum na. Ready to the museum. We shall proceed to the museum. are some of the artworks that has not been moved yet to the CCP annex. But every day is a movement. Every day is packing up. So we shall proceed to the museum. We closed down the museum starting 2019 because of its condition. The cracks are even worse than what you see in other parts. But you won't be able to see it until we totally remove the ceiling. But you would know that the cracks are there because the leaks are enormous. So, in order to preserve all our collection, it had to be moved out of the museum because of the leaks. And so we are going to be working on this part. If the CCP has a cantilever, remember it's shaped this way. This is part of the cantilever. And so this is one area that from waterproofing must really be addressed because it's part of the cantilever. And you would also, if you walk through down the whole museum, you would feel that the floor is uneven. And that's a sign of corrosion of the water pipes or the drainage pipes that may have been running underneath the floor. So, I'm sorry, but we could not turn on any more air conditioning this side because the air ducts, part of it have already been removed and it really is going to be not wise to have, and the dust is already accumulating, so if we turn on the aircon, it will not be healthy for all of us. So, if I may, we proceed. The other side of the museum, if you wish to walk through it, before we proceed to go down to the third floor.
Pero pwede pa rin ma-unpack ng mga tao or nakaano na siya.
And we cannot touch anymore the packed artworks because lane movers have already packed it, and that's already insured based on what has been packed. So I'm sorry, but we cannot open it anymore. That's part, no, because this is a ritual. Those are rituals in this museum. The whole is like an anthropological museum. So, but it features like musical instruments or dance
Akala ko construction
forms or-
warning.
No. That is part of the sections of the museum. Yes. So, we will go down the escalator to the library. So this is our library, and they're in the middle of packing. The head of our library and our library team.
Here we
But
go again.
this is what we have right now in our library.
Wow.
The library is also Alright. The library is also part of or situated in the cantilever. So, with this, you really will feel in certain areas that the floor is so uneven. Oo. Ganyan, humpy. Because of corrosion of pipes. But as you can see, we have not moved out the things that they have packed, and they're still continuing to pack. They're just not showing you it's underneath here, but there's a whole lot to pack for the library. We were informed by our partners, both the project management firm and the construction firm, that we can retain it at first in this area while this area is still not being touched. And then we expect our new library area to be ready by about July of this year. Then we will move out everything. It's at the annex. So that is where we're going to have the library, the new library, and the digital hub. So we're moving all our collections. It's all the way to the back, this library, and because that's where our videos and our audio collection used to be. That is where a lot of researchers, students, are the users of all of these collections of ours, including LP recordings. We had that. We have that. So we still have it.
Wow.
In the next room, if I may, in the next room, I'd like to invite you to the main gallery to see what has been.
Sorry.
Oh, you should go to
All sections of the library. All the way to the back. So all of this will be moved to the new library when we open towards July of this year. In the new library, towards July, of this year. So for everyone to just have an idea, the collection here, if you see what the label of the boxes, it would have recordings, it would have books, it would have manuscripts, it would have children's books, bound clippings, photographs of even the opening of the CCP is taken care of by our library. So we have assorted photographs, bound photographs, real tapes, vertical files. All of this will be transferred to our new library. The head of our library is here as well with us. Raise your hand. Should you have questions, please feel free to ask. So we are not going to touch this area as per the project management firm and the construction company until this area will really be touched for renovation. So they're going to go around the third floor, work on all the other areas, and then when we need this area for the retrofitting, then we will take out everything. Our staff will be moving to another space by the Harbor Square and move some of the collections with them at the Harbor Square area. So, may I invite you to go down to the main theater, backstage. Some can take the escalator going down if you want, or take the elevator going down. The elevators are here. If you want to take the elevator to go down, I can take a group. There will be 2 groups for an elevator. Huh? No, here, the back. But it will just be going up and downstairs.
Going to the basement.
Yes. So we're going down. This is our loading dock. You hardly open. Is it open? Let me check. Or yeah. Okay. Alright. Guard, ma-open. Kung hindi, ikot na lang tayo. Baka pa naman tayo lahat, right? Up and down the stairs will not hurt us.
And it's a good exercise.
Good exercise.
Ang sa oras na sige, okay. Are we on track to
Here at the backstage area. All right. We are at the backstage of the main theater. And what I wanted, the theater itself, the retrofitting of the theater will only start in 2024. But we are starting already at the loading dock in this area because there are a lot of falling debris. So slabs are falling off. On that side, what has been put is that you would see the bars are clearly showing corrosion, and these bars will have to be changed. So what they're doing right now is it has become a testing area before they proceed to the whole renovation of this area of the loading dock. We're also changing, after 53 years, our biggest freight elevator. This is where we put grand pianos to get into the theater. From the piano room to here, all the way down, so that this is the first time, and part of the budget that we were able to receive under the appropriation would include the freight elevator. We will also be able to change the hydraulic lift of the orchestra. You see, Bob, the orchestra pit goes up and down. There's a new technology for this. We have already shown this to many. Our technical consultant has brought in various companies to be able to give us a good indication of how much it would cost us to be able to change it completely to the new type of equipment to be able to raise the orchestra pit. The freight elevator is right here.
Wow, laki.
It's right here. So this is where you put in grand pianos and sets, major sets, big sets that are to be transported. Of course, the loading dock brings in the other sets, no? But if it need be that it has to go through an elevator, this is where it goes. To go down to the little theater, but I don't want to try the train elevator because it gets stuck. So we'll just walk out. This is where we keep our pianos. We have other areas, but closest to the theater, we have storage for piano. We're storing one of our piano at the Med Theater because that is where the Philippine Philharmonic Orchestra has moved for its office and for its rehearsals and for its performances. So we are keeping the Steinway piano at the grand piano at the Met Theater para less of transporting it. We will now go down to the little theater. We'll take the staircase. Please watch out.
Jack is the back before this.
Up and down ito talaga. The whole building actually. Masarap to go up and down to the street. That's my
We did not satisfy the requirement for today. You have to move this, etc. You have to climb this. So until today, I'm able to.
Actually, many of you, I'm sure, have not been to this side of the theater. And our major equipment are inside this lower basement. Before we proceed, I want to explain something. I stopped here because I said I know many of you have not been to this part of the building. This is the entry point to the backstage of the Little Theater. But on this area, all the way to the back, are all the equipment, the big equipment of the institution. Air conditioning system, electrical. We now had to, because of climate change, the way we have been flooding, we now had to come up with a new powerhouse. And that is situated at the south parking. As you would see, that is where we have the mural. And it is where we are putting our electrical system. No? We have the cistern tank, no? But the new powerhouse will have the transformer and the generators in order to avoid, how would I say, hopefully not, that flooding, because we are below sea level. That the flooding, this part of the building is already below sea level. We have so many stairs, also leading to this powerhouse. Water can stream down, and we have witnessed it. And we are just avoiding the power center being affected by flood, and then we would have explosion because we have high-powered electrical equipment inside this whole powerhouse. We have all the units for the chiller, for the air conditioning unit, the transformer. Now we have moved up the transformer, but we also have moved up we have two lines for electrical source. One is what we say the Manila side, and the other one is Pasay. So if you've been here, biglang nag-blackout, we can immediately turn on the power using, kung Manila nag-blackout, we can immediately turn on from the Pasay or the other way around. That's what we're doing, bringing out the equipment into the south parking area for our new powerhouse. And then we are also building right now the cistern tank. The cistern tank will be able to provide us our water reservoir, and at the same time provide us the water needed for the fire protection. So if anything happens, immediately that goes into the building and the system will go on for fire protection. So all of this were studied in the process. It's not like, and we had to consult the Loxines on what we are building, because it has to, we have to maintain the sacredness of a cultural heritage site, which is this main building, and making sure that whatever we build around it would be consistent to the original concept of architect Leandro Loxin. So all of these are always in consultation with the Leandro V. Loxin and partners. We will enter the little theater, and in the little theater, as a lot of scaffoldings already, because they have been working on the ceiling for the past months. Carbon fiber and epoxy is being done, but I just want to point out that the start of the structural retrofitting, and you can see inside the theater, the start of the structural retrofitting is from here at the little theater. We have 14 columns. We have 14 columns, 7 and 7 on each side, that holds the whole building. And that is going to be enlarged all the way down to the water level. So we have also consulted DPWH, and we're having a meeting. All of this is with proper consultation, and designs have been made. As you can see, there probably people are wondering why we were not running the escalator, even if we had a new escalator before we shut down. It's because part of the floor of the main lobby, where the escalators are here in this area. And ang nangyayari, pag nagsha-shake, may slabs na nahuhulog. So, we had to protect, because there were still performances excuse me, in the theater. So, we decided we're not going to run the new escalator for the protection of the artists, and this will be the first to be retrofitted. And that is what's been happening. There are columns that will be expanded, even from the back, okay, that will affect the rigging system, the catwalks, Dennis, if I may. Catwalks are also where lights are put, depending on the kind of production. That is also where the technical people would walk through when certain productions, if needed. So we're making sure that all these catwalks, if needed to be, if it's related to a column that must be expanded, we will have to take it down and put it back. It may be shorter because the column will be enlarged. Now, the decision is being worked on whether the enlargement will be on the front or on the side. It's a decision that is still, because they're still checking the ground level on what would be best. So the structural retrofitting is starting from down going up, while the other retrofitting can start from the 4th floor going down. So it's like meeting this way in terms of renovation. All the way, we don't bring you all the way to the back anymore because there are, rather not, but if you want to take pictures, yes, please do so. But you would see the theater. As it is, the theater is being prepared for the structural retrofitting. And the columns are, they will start from the pinaka-top na column going down to retrofit it. I think it would be good to have a group picture for friends, either at the front of the theater or here. Here, where we have all the staff.
Paano yan, Jo? Paano ka sasayaw dito?
Yun na.
Paano magbabalay si Eric? Solo na. Solo recital.
Please join us. Join us.
Ma'am, pwede yung kunyari nag-usap na kayo.
Si bossing sa akin.
Alright.
Huwag mong takpan si... Kwentuhan. Baka mama.
In the 80s, I believe, or 90s, that the water level really rose, and there's always a sub pump located underneath. But sa lakas nung water that has been coming out, the sub pump collapsed, and so water came out all the way to the 5th row of the seats, covered with water. So these are things, huwag nyo na ilagay ha. Off the record na. But I just wanted to share with you that through the years, we've learned, and our engineers have learned how to deal in terms of trying to make sure that we maintain the sacredness of our theaters. We maintain the equipment and make sure that the people who would come, our audiences and the employees, are safe. So, kahit anong pwedeng magawa in order to address what is the problem, I don't call it kasi a problem, I call it a challenge. And I always say, let's work on the challenge, you know? And then everybody will be happy when they're able to work on the challenge, like a catch basin at the cistern tank at the South Market. Then we would have as well a way ready now of the new drainage that will help in terms of the water that is accumulated on flooding when it's flooded. So all of this will be addressed in the whole renovation.
And then the renovation seems to involve fixing what's broken. Is the CCP going to look like how it used to be before design-wise, or will it have a new look once 2016?
Well, for one, design-wise, it must retain its original form. But we will be infusing some interior design in the.
Oh. No, go ahead. What? Sorry, what was the question?
I was asking if design-wise, is the CCP going to have a new look, because the renovation seems to be focused on the fixing what's broken, but still retaining the main structure, essentially.
Well, that's what Tess was initially saying. We have to maintain the old look, you know, but we will just be adding new touches as far as the interior is concerned. It will be upgraded, it will be more modern, and it will be more in tune with the needs of the 21st century. So, one, we want to be green. Second, we want to be friendly to PWDs. Hopefully, our carpets will no longer be smelling, and we will have new chairs. We will have a new theater curtain, because our theater curtain has not been changed in the last 53 years. It was still Mrs. Imelda Marcos who bought the theater curtain. Yeah. So, but you will still see the genesis of HRO Campo because that's the only artwork that we could not take down because it is too huge. You know? But that one, you know, we are going. Well, hopefully we can expect a lot of new things with the CCP. We are also hoping and to see a lot of new things with the CCP, and we have great confidence in our artistic director to deliver new things once we open, and hopefully we will be able to open by the first quarter of 2026.
Guys in charge also.
Okay, so shall we now proceed to the little theater lobby?